Hi, my name is Shaddai, and I am a registered independent and a third-party advocate who is not voting for Biden.
My name is Hector, and I'm a Hispanic man. I refuse to vote for Biden because I do not negotiate with terrorists.
Can't in good conscience vote for Joe Biden.
My name is Robert Bermudez. I'm Hispanic, and I'm not voting for Joe Biden in 2020.
Hi, my name is Glory. I'm a biracial girl, and I'm not voting for Joe Biden.
Hi, I'm Brian. Let me tell you why I'm not voting for Joe Biden.
My name is Kareem, and I'm an Egyptian American Muslim, and I will not be voting for Joe Biden in the 2020 election.
Hi, my name is James. I just wanted to take a second to explain why I'm not going to be voting for Joe Biden this election cycle.
My name is Lloyd. I'm from the Big Apple, New York, and I'm 100% not voting for Joe Biden.
Hi, my name is Gloria, and I am a Latino voter from Washington State. I'm not voting for Joe Biden because he won't commit to banning fracking.
As a black man, I'm not voting for Joe Biden because he's done nothing to earn my vote.
Hi, my name is Esme. I am a Latina, and I will not be voting for Joe Biden because he has said nothing will fundamentally change, and I believe him.
This is Tony Humanic. I'm a Dominican American, and I will not vote for Joe Biden because he said himself, nothing will ever fundamentally change.
Hello world, my name is Kamala Harris, and I'm from the great state of California. I am a Black American woman, working class citizen. I am not voting for Donald Trump or Joe Biden.
Hi, I'm Rob, and the reason why I'm not voting for Joe Biden is we're in the middle of a global pandemic, and he is not offering Medicare for all.
Hi, my name is Sudesh. I am an American-born Indo-Fijian. I will not be voting for Joe Biden.
Want to know why I'm not voting for Joe Biden? I want to know why I would.
Hi, I'm voting third party because I think it's time that we had more choices than just the corporate bought and paid for duopoly Democrat and Republican parties we have now.
My name is Ryan, and I plan to vote third party this year.
My name is Lloyd, and I'm not voting for Joe Biden.
I thought about this long and hard. I just can't vote for Biden and Kamala. I just can't.
Why am I not voting for Joe Biden? Well, actually, I'm not voting at all.
What's up, family? This is Kay from Richmond, Virginia. I'm not voting for Trump, and I'm not voting for Biden. I'm voting third party.
I'm not voting for Joe Biden because I refuse to put one of African Americans' greatest oppressors into the White House.
My name is Hadi. I'm Hispanic. I work as an ICURN, and one of the main reasons I'm not voting for Biden is because he said directly to us that he'd veto Medicare for all.
Aloha, I'm Rocky Bellinger from Beaver City, USA, aka Grand Rapids, Michigan. There are many reasons why Joe Biden did not earn my vote.
I'm voting against Joe Biden simply because I'm not going to reward cheating and corruption with my vote. I encourage each of you to vote green.
Hello, my name is Christopher Neal. I am a 53-year-old black male, and the reason I will no longer vote for the Democratic Party is because they are corrupt and they do not represent me. So I refuse to participate. It's going to be Green Party for the foreseeable future, and I will probably never vote for another Democrat, ever.
I'm not voting for Joe Biden because he's an architect of the '94 crime bill, which, imprisoned more people in the United States than any other country in the world.
Hello, my name is Rene. I am from Mexico, and I have lived in California for the last 25 years. These are the three main reasons why I do not support Joe Biden.
My name is Delilah. I am a person of color, and I'm a mother, and I refuse to vote for Joe Biden.
I'm not voting for Joe Biden because, one, he voted to authorize an invasion into Iraq based on faulty information. Just that alone, anyone who voted to authorize invasion into Iraq should be disqualified from holding any public office in the United States. In fact, that person should be thrown into jail.
Joe Biden, in his 40-year career, has impacted poor people and minorities more than people can ever imagine, especially with his 1994 crime bill.
Hi, my name is Tierney, and the reason why I don't support Biden is simple.
He does not believe in the Green New Deal to support our planet. He does not want to give everyone Medicare for all.
When someone asks me why I won't vote for Joe Biden in the general election, first of all, I don't live in a swing state. And even if I did, I'd still have to vote my conscience.
Hi, I'm Chris, and I am proudly not voting for Joe Biden.
The reasons I'm not voting for Joe Biden is because the crime bill.
Joe Biden can't even give us legalized weed, Medicare for all, or even stop fracking. As a 21-year-old, I can't support a man who does that.
My plan is to vote for Bernie Sanders, not Donald Trump, and not Joe Biden. Anybody who thinks my vote for Bernie is a vote for one of those two doesn't understand math.
I am not voting for Joe Biden because after watching the town hall this past week and seeing that black guy ask him how can he assure that his black life will remain safe, Joe Biden cannot answer the question.
It is clear that the oil and gas industry runs everything from city councils, county commissioners, all the way to the governor's office. And Joe Biden has made it clear that fracking is something he believes in. So money talks, and money is going to take us all down.
My name is Daniel. I'm listing off a few reasons why I will not be voting for Joe Biden on Election Day. 1, he does not support a Green New Deal. 2, he does not support Medicare for all. 3, he was the orchestrator of the 1994 crime bill. 4, he supported the war in Iraq. 5, he's a straight-up imperialist.
If you weighed on the scale between Joe Biden and Trump as to who would be the greater evil, I think it would be very kind of teetering back and forth, very close.
Why would I? Whether it's Biden and the establishment or Trump and the GOP, the rich are going to get richer, we're going to get poorer. They're going to continue to kill and destroy we the people, our country, and this world, the environment.
Our conditions are shit. They always have been, regardless of who's running the company. So please stop acting like you know that somehow things will be better for those at the bottom, because they won't. And frankly, it's kind of fucking privileged and out of touch to pretend that you do understand. Biden literally said that he would veto Medicare for all if it came to his desk. He said it was an insult to his dead son to demand that healthcare is a basic human right. Nothing he will do with healthcare will even come close to humane, and the most vulnerable among us are done waiting to die. Any other approach to universal healthcare that doesn't cover every single American is no longer acceptable.
Right now, I believe there's about 92 million people in this country that are eligible to vote but don't vote. And the reason they don't vote is because they know that the whole shit is rigged. You know, the main argument that a lot of vote shamers like to use is, oh, you're privileged for not voting. What are you talking about? 92 million people in this country don't vote. Majority of those people are poor working class minorities, okay, who don't vote because, again, they see that the system is rigged. No matter who they vote for, the system always fucks them over.
My vote is my voice, so I take it very seriously. The way I see it, the left wants you to think the right is all fascist, and the right wants you to think the left is all communist. And the two parties use this tactic to keep their sheep in line, to be afraid that the other party could win and eat them.
I'm not voting for either one of these fucks because they're fucks. They're both in bed with corporations. They're both in bed with the systems that we need to truncate. And at the end of the day, you know, it's still the lesser of two evils. So, you know, the bottom line too is that it doesn't matter if you're black, doesn't matter if you're white, doesn't matter if you're gay, it doesn't matter if you're any identities. When you're in that top upper echelon of where our politicians are, which is really the 1%, it's just one big club and you ain't in it.
Why am I not voting for Biden? Because I'm not convinced. I don't believe he has genuinely good intentions. He's been a politician for a very long time. He's had multiple chances to make changes, but he hasn't. Some of the policies he's made in the past have hurt a lot of people, but yet he stood by him even through his entire vice presidency up until a year and a half ago when he said he was going to run for president. Then he got a change of heart.
I refuse to vote for Biden because I value freedom. I will not be shamed
gaslit, or bullied.
Under the Obama-Biden administration, we were told that we would have health care. Well, I didn't, and I almost died. As long as the Democrats do not support Medicare for all, I can't vote for them. I am putting my life at risk.
The fact is that Joe Biden and his campaign has said that they did not find a pathway to victory through the Hispanic vote. None of Joe Biden's policies appealed to me personally, and he's repeatedly spit on the left. So I feel like he's done absolutely nothing to earn my vote, and instead has caused me to not want to vote for him.
I've already cast my ballot for Gloria La Riva, because why would I vote for Joe Biden? To preserve some democracy? We don't have democracy. We have freedom for me and fascism for thee. The me being the corporate ruling elite, the military-industrial complex, the national security state, the police state, and the top 1% of the neoliberal and neoconservative establishment. All of which have caused immense damage to the environment and many people around the world. And I'm not going to vote for a tool of those people, which is what Joe Biden and Donald Trump are.
First election I was able to vote in was 1980, when Jimmy Carter ran against Ronald Reagan. Ever since 1980, we have heard in every election cycle, oh, it's too important for the Democrat to win, too important to not let the Republicans take over. You've got to vote for the Democrat in this race. Maybe next time you can have progressive policies, but it's most important now that you've got to beat the Republican. Been hearing that every year for 40 years.
I do not trust Joe Biden as a person or as a politician. I do not believe that he has the best interests of the average American at heart. Joe's authoring of the '94 crime bill, his support for the Iraq war, his ties to big pharma and credit card companies.
Basically, it's about the policy and lack thereof. He's not for Medicare for all. He's not for banning fracking, not for UBI. He's not for ending the wars. Basically, he offers me nothing except getting rid of Trump, and I just feel that that's not enough, and I don't think we can pull him to the left. So I have no reason to vote for him.
Because not only of his abysmal political record of literally over 40 years, his proven record of flat-out lying and full-blown plagiarism, his complete two-faced persona, but because he's really just playing us all and taking us all for fools. And on top of that, the man has cognitive decline. I tend to say this quote frequently because it rings so true, especially the time we live in with COVID-19. The Democratic Party is all about the bigotry of no expectations.
He won't commit to divest from Israel for its oppression of the Palestinian people. He has done terrible things to the working class of America, most notably to the Black Americans, especially with his vice presidential pick in Kamala Harris, who has described herself as a top cop. That doesn't help his case, and that doesn't make me want to vote for Joe Biden or for the Biden-Harris ticket.
He bragged about beating the socialists, so therefore he shouldn't expect or feel entitled to my vote either.
They want to paint you to a corner to make you think that you don't have a choice, but you do have a choice. Your vote needs to be earned because of their policies, not because of the gender, not because of the color of the skin, or not because of the popularity. You need to know that you have a choice. Act local, vote local, change the system within your community.
I am not voting for Joe Biden because his vision for America is not that of which is to solve the problems and issues of working class Americans such as myself. His vision is more about expanding on what him and Barack Obama started, Trump and Pence continued, and with him as president to advance.
We are in the middle of climate catastrophe, and he will not ban fracking, the '94 crime bill, and he won't legalize marijuana.
Joe Biden is basically a Republican. You look at his miserable 50-year history, he has always been on the wrong side of history. Whether it was hobnobbing with white supremacists, opposing busing to integrate schools, and I believe he even said, I don't want my kids going to school in a racial jungle. He has tried to cut Social Security for as long as he's been a politician.
He offers us nothing. He promises to veto Medicare for all.
He promises to continue fracking, and he has no intention of ending any war. Why would I vote for another neocon? Why would I vote to support this insane so-called two-party system that is truly one party of war and Wall Street? They pretend to disagree, and they don't. They're driving us into the ground.
I'm a black woman, but before that, I'm anti-interventionist. I don't want to vote for someone like Joe Biden, who I think will increase foreign intervention. I also think that he will ignore those of us who are in desperate need of health care.
The time for revolutionary politics is now. Financial crisis, COVID, unemployment, civil liberties, impending evictions, environmental collapse, our global hegemonic enforcement racket, Biden has said nothing will fundamentally change. That, coupled with his atrocious 36-year history in the Senate and 8 as vice president, shows me that any pandering he does for my vote now is completely hollow.
I can't vote for someone that was responsible for putting hundreds and thousands of people that look like me in jail, and then they're telling me to vote for them to prevent the other racists from winning. Given the choice, I'd rather not vote for any racist. That's my opinion.
My view is that unless you're voting for the salaries of the CEOs who already own these politicians, then you're not going to change anything. It's the system, stupid. If you're not going to change the system, there's no point. You're performing a little ritual for placebo for yourself to let yourself feel better about whatever it is going on, rather than just accepting it for what it is.
Never been a voter until this year because I've never felt represented in DC by either party. And quite frankly, they're both to blame for where we are today, especially Biden, who's been in office for decades, pushing through legislation that put us where we are, with the police state, mass incarceration, wealth inequality, the wars overseas, the destruction of the planet. He's had his hand in all of it.
Joe Biden is responsible for the 1994 crime bill, which put more African Americans in prison than there were slaves at any point in the history of America. His continual growth of the prison industry based on the backs of black folks with petty crimes such as marijuana possession and simple robbery, I can't support that. On top of that, the person that he chose for his running mate put more black people in prison in California than any other attorney general ever had in the history of California.
People are dying, people are incurring massive amounts of medical debt, and he's doing nothing to cure that atrocity.
Joe Biden has a 47-year record, and for someone like myself, who identifies as a Scandinavian social democrat, he makes Ronald Reagan look like a wide-eyed leftist. You can pretty much go down the list of issues from healthcare, foreign policy, the environment, and Joe Biden's rhetoric and record aligns with the views of most conservatives.
I also am not supporting Joe Biden because of his stance on whistleblowers. He's the reason that Snowden is locked in Russia, and they're trying to extradite Julian Assange and lock him in prisons for 180 years for his reporting of corruption.
I'm not voting for Joe Biden because he came from an administration that just basically did everything they could for the wealthiest in the world. I mean, what did the Obama administration do for the people? Open up fracking, more fracking, drilling in the Arctic, took us from 2 to 7 wars, couldn't do a damn thing on healthcare except a Mitt Romney care plans.
Number 1, he is pro-war, pro-regime change. Number 2, he is against Medicare for all. And number 3, Joe Biden serves the interests of corporations, just like Donald Trump. What's the difference between them?
I'm going to vote Green Party. I've faced a lot of criticism and aggression from people. I've gotten into fights with coworkers, people accusing me of not caring about my family and not caring about fascism or where the world is going. I care a lot. That's why I refuse to be complicit in the same systems of oppression that have put us in this mess that we're in currently.
Regardless of his stance against Medicare for all, against Green New Deal, against universal health care, defunding the police, on, just his judgment alone in going into Iraq shows his judgment is lethal. For that alone, I will not vote for Joe Biden.
He is a key architect of systemic racism. I can't say I'm against racism and vote for someone like him. As VP, him and Obama deported millions of immigrants, including some of my family members. That was more than any other president. They ran on healthcare, and they gave us a plan that prioritized profits over people's health. They took us from 2 wars to 7 without any valid reason, killing thousands of innocent people, including children. They made the banks bigger and protected them over the destruction that they created, resulting in millions of families being evicted, unemployed, and hungry at night. They persecuted whistleblowers instead of the war criminals that the whistleblowers revealed. They expanded spying powers on regular Americans and expanded policing forces. Their budgets, they gave them military-grade weapons, which they used on their own citizens at Standing Rock or Ferguson, Missouri. And then also they passed a law to detain people indefinitely without a fair hearing.
But the most important reason of why I will not vote for Biden is because he's already said any promises I make, I can't promise to keep those promises. If he is already telling me that he's not going to keep the promises that he's making when he's not in office, why should I believe anything he says if he gets into office?
I fear liberals going back to brunch under a Joe Biden administration more than I fear another 4 years of the damage of a Donald Trump administration, which is hardly any different than the damage over the past 30 years of neoliberal presidents.
I very much resent when people suggest that not voting for Biden is based in vengeance and is not a rational long-term strategy. People suggest that it's based on my privilege and not caring about people who are going to be hurt by a Trump presidency. But the long-term trend in American politics has been rightward, and the Democrats have been fully complicit in this. Some of us have reached the conclusion that the best way to halt this trend is to stop rewarding the Democrats for their undemocratic behavior.
Social Security. He has proven that he wants to cut Social Security. He said that. You can find those clips, the video clips of him actually saying that he wants to cut Social Security. Fracking. Joe Biden. I'm sorry. I'm totally against fracking. His son profiteering off of his position is not a good thing at all. He already, has proven that he will allow his son to sell access to his father and make money off of it.
And so that doesn't give me assurance as another Black life that he would care to assure that our safety would be at the forefront of his administration. I cannot vote for a person who can assure that my life and the lives of other Black men and women in this country can remain safe.
Stop telling me he's progressive. He's as progressive as Ronald Reagan.
To me, just the fact that they are so comparable or so close, if I give Joe Biden my vote, that's sending the Democrats the message that they can get away with that. And no, that's not okay. I think we need to send them the message that's no, bad Democrats.
You vote for the policies and the people, and the policies that are for, by, and of we the people, the middle class and poor. I mean, the only difference really between the establishment and the GOP, Biden and Trump, is that one comes in, grabs you, brutally throws you on the table, rips off your pants, and fucks you up the ass. The other one, the establishment, may take you out to dinner, then brings you back, tries to sweet-talk you, to manufacture your consent to willfully bend over the table and take off your pants, and may give you some lube, but they're still going to and do fuck you up the ass.
These approaches still allow people to die with just complete and utter indifference, because politicians play God with our lives. You will not push Biden left on anything. For fuck's sake, we're literally in the middle of a global pandemic, and the man still doesn't support the policy that provides the basic human right to all of us. What in God's name makes you think he's going to change?
The only rational option is to not participate in the system that has no benefit to you. I think you're more privileged if you are going around telling people that Biden is the lesser evil, because what that shows is your American privilege. You, Biden supporter, do not have to worry about his predatory neoliberal policies. You're not at the receiving end of these, imperialist wars, this horrendous foreign policy that we've had for decades under Democrat or Republican. Civilians being bombed, hospitals, school buses, fucking people's houses droned. You know what I mean? Like, you can't look at those people and look at the suffering that they go through and tell me that Joe Biden is a lesser evil when that motherfucker is responsible for so much suffering and death and destruction. Trump is too, but Joe Biden has more experience. He's been in this shit for like 40 years. Like, think about how much destruction you can do in 40 fucking years, bro.
Right. What you need to do is realize that both parties believe in corporatism. They both do. And that's not good for us, the people. So when you go to vote, vote your conscience, not your fear.
So the reality is they're all the same. They're all being bought and paid for by corporations. So you know what? Joe Biden, go fuck yourself. Kamala Harris, go fuck yourself. Donald Trump, go fuck yourself. The establishment Democrats, go fuck yourself. The establishment Republicans, go fuck yourself. We need to really rise up and really take our power back from these politicians. So until there's no money from corporations into our political process, then at the end of the day, like I said, it really doesn't matter because of this electoral college and because there's still so many people who are not really aware to see how incestuous both parties really are.
We people who are third-party advocates, we're pretty much like the guardians of democracy. We're here to make sure that everybody's voice is heard and gets a chance to be heard. So you can either continue to feed into the same system that you complain about, or you can change the way you vote. You can change the way you look at voting. You can educate yourself on all of your options, but the choice is yours.
Joe Biden will not ban fracking and does not support the Green New Deal. My state is burning. My air is filthy. I cannot vote for the Democrats. My student loans are in excess of $12,000 more than what I borrowed, and I've already paid it back twice. The Democrats are not supporting canceling student debt. Therefore, I cannot vote for them. I am voting for Howie Hawkins. I'm voting for the Green Party. I'm voting for the only candidate who has my best interest in mind and yours. So please, don't listen to your friends. Do the right thing. Vote your conscience. Vote for the only person who actually wants to make things better. Please.
I'll be voting for the Green Party's candidates and Howie Hawkins and Angela Walker. I know that they have a platform that is much more suited to my beliefs. And just because I'm Hispanic doesn't mean that I have to vote for a Democratic Party because the Republican Party is more explicitly racist. That's why I won't be voting for Joe Biden in 2020.
So Democrats can suck it with their tokenization, and hey, if they want to help, they can free Julian Assange, but I know they won't. So, yeah.
Tired of it. If not now, when?
In his 5 decades in politics, he has done very little to benefit the average American. At a time when we critically need a Green New Deal, Joe Biden is doubling down on fossil fuels.
Every 4 to 8 years, we're on the left are all browbeaten to vote blue no matter who because insert Republican president is so bad. Be very afraid. Basically expect nothing from Democrats because Republicans are so bad. And if you expect nothing, then you'll get a bunch of nothing. And after all, if Joe Biden knew how to fix America, then why didn't he tell Obama? Let that marinate a minute.
I refuse to let the Democratic Party or anyone try to shame me for my vote and try to use scare tactics. They've been doing that since Reagan. Oh, you must vote for the Democratic nominee, otherwise blah blah blah, Republican blah blah blah. Well, you know what? I'm still here, and I will continue to be here through this election and many more elections. I refuse. to give in. I'm done. They're not entitled to my votes. Never have been, and they never will. And after screwing Bernie again this year in the primary, I'm definitely done. I'm now an independent, and both major parties can just go to hell.
We have an opportunity to vote differently, to withhold our votes from the duopoly, to vote third party, to demonstrate that we will not stand for this any longer. Through this action, we may create some change. We may pull up out of this nosedive. A vote for either one of these lunatics is just to continue the trajectory to death. So stop the madness, vote third party. That's what I'm going to do. Peace.
I don't think Biden is the lesser evil, even if he was mentally fit for office. Stay strong, fight the power, free Assange.
So I voted my conscience, voted down ballot, voted green at the top. Black people vote for Democrats over 90% of the time. Yet they give us crumbs and they give us nothing. They take us for fucking granted. They have to be shown that there's a price for hurting their fucking base. Here's the mailbox. In goes the ballot. Boom.
I now consider myself an anarchist. I prefer the direct action. There's no more representation. I live in Louisiana. This is like a ruby red state. I don't know how many times I've emailed my representatives, the senators, and everything else, and just get back form letters and crap that's just no more than talking points, if I even get that at all. State reps, same thing. So no matter what I ask for, it's pointless. So rather than do that, I'm taking the more direct democracy, the direct action route. At least that I have control over. That I have say over what I can do. I'm pretty convinced it's all rigged anyway. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents, and I'm sticking to it. So, appreciate it. Peace out. Keep fighting.
And Sanders was the compromise, not because he's Bernie Sanders, but because of the legislation he was pushing, or the policy he was pushing. You know, I was voting for the Green New Deal, for a livable wage, for health care and schools. The Democrats have shit all over that. They don't want nothing to do with it, and they promise nothing will fundamentally change when we need fundamental change. Absolutely. So they're not getting my vote. They haven't earned it. I don't owe anybody my vote, and that's where I'm at. Peace.
All I see from their records is more people of color is going to go to jail for more petty crimes, and they're going to release more police in neighborhoods of color, and nobody wins.
I voted in 2016 for Jill Stein for the Green Party. I don't regret it, and I'm not going to regret voting for the Green Party for Howie Hawkins, Angela Walker in 2020. They don't deserve my vote. Biden thinks he's entitled. He's not. He needs to earn it, and we all need to realize that.
And we are fucked regardless of who wins. Nothing will change until the American people wake the fuck up and stop voting for the corporate two-party duopoly. Mahalo. Peace.
Tara Reid, I believe Tara Reid.
I do too.
I'm not voting for Joe Biden because I believe Joe Biden is probably a rapist.
Yeah, I think he is too. But Joe Biden's always been about Joe Biden. He's been playing the game. And his attempts to implement a grand bargain, cutting Social Security and basically leaving the seniors with nothing. The Republicans have never tried to do that, where the Democrats have on several occasions. Bill Clinton, Barack Obama, the grand bargain, and Joe Biden was right behind that all the way. So I don't think Biden's a good bet for anybody.
I don't think so either.
I don't live in a swing state either, but you know what? I probably wouldn't do the same vote if I didn't. I don't care at this point.
Me too. And I'm not going to shame anybody who thinks any different.
Yeah, if we keep feeding this beast, we're going to get worse and worse outcomes. And believe me, you think Donald Trump's bad? Wait till the next time we're in this position. That's all.
Exactly. Donald Trump is merely what these neo-libs for the last 40 years have coughed up.
Yep.
I will not stop fighting. I never will. I don't care who wins this election. I'm going to be out there fighting for people that I don't know, because those are my principles that I stand by. I don't have to be compliant with the Democratic Party when they do not care about the needs of the people. They think they are owed our votes without offering us anything in our worst times. People are hungry and they're losing their homes and they're getting pushed out on the streets and they're dying of a disease that all could have been prevented. But these systems of oppression and this duopoly and the corporate power relentlessly abuses us and takes advantage of us. Biden has been in Congress for since longer than I've been alive, and I've never ever seen him go out and try to do something good for the people. He's a classic politician, and he does not care about people or what they're actually dealing with. I refuse to vote for somebody like that. My conscience is clean. I'm going to vote for the Green Party, and I hope and I pray that they get to 15%, because we need to start these changes. We need to enact these policies that are going to actually help people instead of ignore them.
Joe Biden is not the lesser of two evils. He is just evil. Just like Trump, who is a symptom of a system created by people like Joe Biden. Imagine what laws Joe Biden will try to write that then will be abused by a future conservative president. If we don't stand up now, then when?
I don't support Joe Biden and I don't support Trump. But at this point, both Democrats and Republicans are so similar that there is no difference. We need to have a third party choice.
We have to show the party that we'll not just fall in line and play their lesser evil, good cop, bad cop game. Our will as sovereign voters has to be respected, or the Democrats will lose. We have that power to leverage, but it requires thinking beyond one election cycle. History shows that lesser evil voting moves American politics right in the long run. Bernie or bust is not a short-sighted, hot-headed act of vengeance, but it is a cool, rational, long-term strategy to halt the rightward momentum in American politics.
We need to support a third party. We need another party. So the more people we get to vote for a third party, I'm voting Green. Personally, I already voted Green. I just delivered my ballot today. So Green Party, Howie Hawkins, I don't know if I agree with everything, but I definitely agree more with him than I do Joe Biden or Donald Trump.
Why would I or anyone vote for either one of them? I'll be voting for the Green Party this year. And only for real and true progressives in local and all elections. Capitalism has to go. And especially the parasitic capitalist piece of shit few. They're the ones that are doing all this crap. They're the ones behind all this and this destruction and harm and everything that's going on to this world and our country. Until we end that and then their evil rule, nothing's going to change.
I don't buy into the lesser evil argument. I don't buy into the privilege argument. It's very simple for me. Like I'm not voting because these candidates don't represent where I think the world should be going. Like ideally, politicians should offer some type of hope or vision. Neither of these motherfuckers are doing that. Your life is not on their priority list. My life is not on their priority list. None of our lives are on their priority list. They don't give a fuck about us. Neither party does. So that's why I don't vote, because it's absolutely pointless. It's a scam that the ruling elites use to keep us divided, keep us in this tribalist sort of state, and to keep us from organizing outside the system.
There's a whole bunch of fucks that are running this government, and quite frankly, I'm not going to support any of them. All these Democrats that were running were definitely not trying to run to beat Trump. They were all trying to run to beat Bernie Sanders, because Bernie Sanders, he truncates the money flow. He truncates the money flow into the Democratic Party. He truncates the money flow into the Wall Street, and he truncates the money into the mainstream media. They're all in cahoots with one another. Yeah, is Donald Trump a fuck and a total dick? Yeah, but you know what? So is Joe Biden. You know what? So is Barack Obama. So is Dianne Feinstein. So is Chuck Schumer. So is Kamala Harris. So is Mayo Pete. So you can go down the list. Anybody who's pretty much in the Democratic Party at the top, they're a bunch of fucks. And we need to take our power back. And the only way to do that is to really rise up. But, like I said, unfortunately, most Americans aren't at that point. We still haven't hit the tipping point. I would have thought COVID and everything would have, got people way more upset than they did. But at the end of the day, we're not there yet.
Forgive me for not having faith in a system, including those who run it, which has gaslighted us to our graves for decades. So I'm here to end the cycle, which has plagued my parents and their parents, and will continue to plague us and our children and their children and so on, unless someone fucking stands up, unless we collectively stand up and say that we're done accepting crumbs, because with crumbs we're still going to starve. We have to demand our meal. Crumbs are not better than nothing. Please stop deluding yourselves. In 4 years, you'll be myopically begging for crumbs yet again. My vote is on strike. And I'm sorry, but y'all are crossing the damn picket line. I'm not voting for Biden.